¿Qué es la que hay? Welcome back to Tony West DIY. My name is West, and on today's episode, I've been working in the RX7 just to try to fix a couple things. One of the things was the water level sensor. Even though I replaced the new sensor, which is this one, the light was still on. I'm gonna show you which light. Since Germany, it was doing that. But again, I didn't have time to fix it. I needed to get the car ready to ship it. And what I did, I removed. Let me go back. Don't do this. But I went to the F100, I believe, is the black box on the dash. And I removed it has like a black speaker. I removed that thing because the buzzer was driving me crazy. Again, I wouldn't do that if I was you, just because if you're not paying attention to the gauges and you're running low on water, that shit will let you know, but whatever. So I was just fixing that, and I found, just in case, that's not today's episode, but just in case you have that issue. So this is the cable, and it's basically, it's just one single cable, and there's a cable below the elbow behind the power steering pump. So it's this cable here. Let me see if there's no room, but this cable that I moved, that goes there. So it was unplugged. One of the cables were like plugged like this, and the other side, it was just in tape, and it was just crazy. And that took me to check the harness for my Twin Power. So this harness was cut in here, and then it had a cable from here going to nowhere, and then it was a red cable coming from this Y here, right? So basically it was cut in here, and it had like a bridge with two different cables. One was red and was green. So I saw that thing. I didn't know why the hell those cables were like that. I tried to trace them. They weren't connected to anything. And back in Germany, I felt that hesitation. Again, I drove from UK to Germany in this car. It took me like 12 hours, and thank God, I never had any issue. The car wasn't tuned. The car didn't have the map sensor attached to anything. So it was rich as hell. The starter was dead, so I had to push this car twice because the starter worked sometimes only. And then that hesitation, I have it since I bought the car. So I thought that was either the spark plugs cables, which it might be. Spark plugs were foul. TPS not calibrated. That can be another issue. Or coils are out. They usually tend to give you that hesitation and backfire as well. Back in Germany, the only thing that I could do was change the spark plugs and change the spark plugs wire. It was still doing the same thing, and I didn't have like enough time, like I said before, to fix it, so I shipped the car. I had the hesitation seen before, but if you drive it slowly, like gradually going up on RPMs, the car was fine. It's just when you try to go at wide open throttle, that's when I start backfiring and do shit. So found those two cables. Going online, there's a chart in Club RX7 that says where this goes, right? But the thing is that everywhere I found, it just says two yellow cables. The red one, which is power source, the white one, which is for the leading coil, and then two wires, yellow, two trailing. I only saw one yellow, so that shit threw me off, especially with the two cables that weren't connected to anything. Anyway, that was last night. I was curious, so instead of fixing more stuff, I just put my attention to that. And then I started. So I thought I replaced the spark plug wires. I replaced the spark plugs. The other stuff that I did was checking my TPS calibration, right? So the way you check that and I'm just gonna show you real quick. All right, so if you have the Power FC, you go to etc, and then you go to sensor check. You put the ignition on, and you go to here. So you press next, and you see VTA1 and VTA2. So I'm gonna put the ranges. I don't remember now on top of my head, but looking at my TPS, it was calibrated. So you check at close, the throttle body close, and then if I go and press the gas pedal all the way in, you will have another reading. So mine is on the range, so that's how I knew it was calibrated. So that wasn't an issue then. So I was like, okay, so no spark plug wired, no spark plug, TPS is pretty good. The idle was kind of a little funky, so I decided to remove the elbow and check the idle screw. I believe it's called. Let me focus. All right, so over there's a screw, and you close it all the way in, and then you open it 1/4, and then you start from there. So I did that, start open counterclockwise until the idle is smooth. And then I tried, still having hesitation. So it had to be electrical, right? Since this car was a project car, and all the technology that I've been finding in the car is all technology. So I assume that the guy started building this car a long time ago, and it just sat in the garage. The way I know, Twin Power is a old technology. It was popular. Apexi, for example, was popular back in the day. Now everybody just going to Haltech, Adaptronic, and then for coils, either the GM ones or AEM is a popular now that you see around. So the confusion was, since on this harness I have a yellow and a green, and the stock harness that the HKS come, it actually has the two yellow. So red is power, white is leading coil, and then trail. Bam. So this harness, you can buy it extra, additional cost. And this one, I'm assuming that is so you don't have to splice these cables under the factory harness. I'll show you later with a flashlight where it's going connected, but I'm assuming it's because it brings the two plugs and it's already in splice on the cables. So I'm assuming that's why they changed to this harness. But this harness have one yellow and one green. That threw me off for a while. I'm gonna put everything back. I'm gonna test it to see how smooth it is, and if it starts having hesitation, and then I'll be back, reinstall the Twin Power, and then check it again. So yeah, stay there, don't go anywhere. All right, so no coolant light, so that's fixed, and then we'll see if it runs smoothly and doesn't have any hesitation, backfire. Just remember, this is without I bypass the Twin Power. All right, the sun is going down, but I'm gonna show you where the HKS harness go. Behind the power steering, you check, and it should be the cable to go for the coils, which is this one. And this is the plug. You unplug that and you plug the harness. You put it on the male, and then on the male one from the factory, you put it on the female. And then this one goes ground, and this plugs to the actual HK power. I mean HKS Twin Power. So that's how it is. If you have the stock harness, which is this one, and I showed it to you earlier, then you have to splice the. It has the flash on, but these two are yellow, and then this is white. You have to then splice the cables. I'll be honest, I can, if you don't have this cable and you need to splice it, I can then do some research and then tell you the colors. I have the actual manual and the wiring diagram and stuff, so I can tell you the colors. If I'm not mistaken, this is on Z28 in the manual. So if you need it, just contact me. Send me a PM on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tony West DIY, or by email, tonywestdiy@gmail.com. I do that. A lot of people do it by email, and they ask for the Helms manual for the RSX, which it give you all the information you need, torque, spec, anything you can think of, and I've been doing it. So if you need that, just let me know. If you have any other questions, just text me or PM me and all that, and I will, as soon as I can, I will reply. Basically, yeah. So I'm gonna install the harness. I'm gonna install the Twin Power, and I'm gonna test the car again. I haven't been putting, the clips or when I'm doing stuff, because I'm putting a lot of information on this video, and I want you guys to get bored. Basically, to take out the elbow, it's just 4 10mm nuts, and that's it. I'm just gonna finish the video here. Just to recap, if you have hesitation at wide open throttle or backfire, things that I told you to check was TPS calibration, boost lead, spark plugs, wire, spark plugs, and then in this case the HKS, which was all jacked up, how they install it. If you have any questions, contact me. As soon as I can, I will respond. If you really like what I post, please subscribe, press the bell button. You support me a lot with that, and I will appreciate you. Especially this is my hobby. I'm not sponsored. This is just me, Night Rush, and I'm just trying to post videos to try to help you guys. Things that I have headache and it's hard for me to try to identify. I'm just pushing it out so you guys can enjoy your car and spend less time trying to identify those issues. So until next one, ciao ciao.